All right, party people. So this is Jordan, also known as I'm a Wizard on MTGO, and right now this is match 3, game 2, where I'm playing against Mono White. Taking a look at what I believe to be his sideboard, it looks like there's Holy Lights in there. That's kind of like the only thing I have to be scared of. There's also a Singleton Plains. What? So if Holy Light's the only thing I have to be scared of, and I don't actually have to care about like anything else except for that instant, then I think it's something where an argument can probably be made for just going ahead and boarding into spells as opposed to Giga Drowse. Giga Drowsing on their end step is pretty sweet though. I've always been kind of a fan. But let's go ahead and do this. Bring in those dispels, take out these pyretics, and yeah, let's go ahead and submit. One thing that's really great about Giga Drowse is, yeah, just being able to do it on that end step and not really have to worry about the mana constraints on your turn. It just makes such a huge difference. Having Dispel, though, is really, really nice because then I can go ahead and go off and just have the mana available. It requires me to not really need Bushwhacker as much because if I just make like 30 goblins, it doesn't matter. I can just kill him. I don't need Bushwhacker. Looking at this hand, I have more than enough blue mana. Got one cantrip and Preordain, so no way I'm only getting that. It's awesome. I even have the 2 rituals in there too, which is perfect. One thing that I think is probably worthwhile to note, but I've just seen so many of my opponents kind of misplay it in the mirror match, is when they're using Gitaxian Probe like really early on, and you just don't need to. Like, it seems like it should be common sense. I don't know what's going on there though, and I've seen people like Gitaxian Probe on like turn 1 after they've laid a land. I don't know, man. It blows my mind every time. Alright, so we have a Suture Priest. The game is afoot. If he has double Suture Priest, I kind of just have to scoop it up. Let's see what we got. Okay, so we don't have anything super sweet there. Let's go ahead and go with this Preordain. See if we can find a red producing land, which we can't. We bottom, put this Preordain on top, Preordain again. Look a little bit deeper this way, just instead of like bottoming that other card. Go ahead and put this Rite of Flame on the bottom. I have more than enough red mana at this point. And let's go ahead and put Impulse on top, actually. Seems totally fine to me. And drop this Sappers and Scary. If I would have like Gitaxian Probed and hit a Sandstone Needle, like for sure, that would have been awesome. But, you know, you can't win them all, so I wasn't really going to bank on that option. Oh, man. Bone Splitter's actually really good in this matchup, surprisingly so. Just since it's so good at like making the clock a little bit faster and the mana investment isn't really that high. Alright, so now I'm actually going to need to start... I'm going to need to keep track of like how many spells I'm playing. So let's go ahead and Impulse. See what we can find here. Okay, we did find a red land. Sweet, awesome. And I think we have to take that really over anything else. Finding something else there would have been pretty sweet. Like if we were able to get, you know, like something just amazing. I just don't really think there was anything that was really going to do it unless we were able to know somehow that we are going to Gitaxian Probe right into that Empty the Warrens. So I think we aren't exactly dead yet, but we might be pretty damn near. Him doing that means he probably has Dispel, but he didn't attack with Suture Priest, which means we could potentially, you know, storm for 10 goblins +1. And then if we had Dispel up, that would kind of make all the difference. So this worked out pretty well for us. We are actually being given a window to be in this game. But since we can only cast looks like 4 spells before we need to cast Empty the Warrens. We are pretty limited. So let's go ahead and start with double blue and go ahead and check my opponent. Let's see if he actually has Holy Light. And no, he has Prismatic Strands. And while that's pretty sweet, it's probably not going to be enough. He'd be able to, once I go off and I make a whole lot of dudes, he will Prismatic Strands, making sure that he doesn't die. And then he'll be able to swing back for potentially 3, because he will give this pro... Yeah, he'll give it pro red. So this kind of means I need to find like another dispel, I think. Which I think is probably not going to be happening, because this is the only other draw spell I have in my hand, and I kind of need to get 2 cards out of this one draw spell. So he has me. Pretty certain. But, you know, it's possible that he couldn't, he might not figure it out. There's 1, there's 2, and he's casting Prismatic Strands right now. So I'm going to go ahead, and I think I have to dispel this now. But this should make it so I die, because he's just going to make it so I lose entirely to my own Empty the Warrens. Yeah, I can't do it. Yeah, he definitely got me in that one. So we'll go ahead and move along on to the next game, and we'll see how things pan out there. Join me then.